say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poorest part. Bright light, city lights, I gotta make it, this is where it goes down. I just happen to come apart. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. Jeff is on this side, Krissy's on that side. We're back. We're off hiatus, just like the show, and we're here to bring you the recap for Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 1, Episode 6, Good versus Evil. Krissy, what's up?
What it do, man? I'm working off my teacher edition today. You know, y'all feel it. I've got the, little pictures, the diagrams.
Oh, my bad. I had to...
Something.
Good morning, Mrs. Davis. Badass kids.
That teacher that was everybody's friend. I wouldn't.
Listen. They be like, yo, Mrs. Davis, you know she not going to get too tight. We just got to make her laugh. We got da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, no.
COVID has taught me nothing else is that I was not meant to be a teacher. It looks good, but it's not my ministry at all.
Shout out to the teachers. I did a couple of like mentorship things, like speaking to classes and being on them Zooms. And I don't know how they do it, because it's like, the kids will be on their phone. They don't have the camera on and all of that. And I would have already been like, all right, man, everybody, if your camera ain't on, I'm coming to your crib. Mask up, shaking the table. But
that's why you're not a teacher.
Listen, I'm not a teacher. I'll come in and talk to the class, though, and be the one where they're just like,
that stuff is fun. But the other stuff?
Yeah, but teacher should be a six-figure salary. Trust me. Trust me. But yeah, we're back. Power Book 2 Ghost. We're back. We're back. And we're making the push. I believe this season's gonna have 10 episodes, so this is officially the start to the second half.
Wow.
Good versus Evil. What did you think about this return episode?
Listen, I was here for it. The thing that I really love about this show is that no matter which scene we're in, because we have many different scenes with a bunch of different characters, I feel like they're giving you just the right amount of information that you need to feel like you're not left in limbo, but also the action that you need to keep you entertained. So like, I just loved everything about this episode. There was never a dull moment. I was concerned about Brayden. I was hype about Kane. I mean, there were just so many different aspects of the show. So I'm just happy it's back. Like, I'm not going to lie. I definitely told Jeff I was not ready. Did not know that the season was coming back last night. I'm not going to front y'all. I didn't know. But I'm happy that Jeff reminded me, because it was worthy of like a comeback episode. It was good.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was pretty straightforward. It was billed at 1 hour and 3 minutes, but I felt felt like that's what I'm saying. It was an easy hour. It was an easy hour of TV. I felt like it was pretty laid out. We got a recap of everything that was going on and where they're going towards the end of the season, and it was easy to follow. Had its great parts, and I was straight. I thought it was a good welcome back episode for the way that they broke it up. So we can get into it. There's 2 or 3 main themes that they had here this week. Well, first let's talk about your guy 2-Bit is back.
Yes. I'm happy to see 2-Bit. I was happy to see him because his attitude. Listen, there's nothing you can tell me about 2-Bit that I truly believe he would give a fuck about. Okay, right. He doesn't care. His only goal was to get out, right. And we here.
Right. I like the interaction with Saxe and McLean. How they're working together, and they're doing it so it looks like normal lawyer discussion, because that's what they do. Like lawyers, prosecution, defense, they have meetings. They have a series of meetings both before trial, where they're figuring things out, and they're going by the rules of engagement, trying to cut deals, trying to do everything. So with them, they're in constant deal mode throughout this trial, but they're both in it for themselves. As the quick recap, you know, Saxe wants to nail somebody. They want to nail somebody so that James St. Patrick, aka Ghost, is in the clear and they won't have to worry about it anymore. And McLean wants a win for his client so that they both look good. So what's the way? They're looking to get Tasha off and to arrest Tariq for Ghost murder. So I love the jury selection. The jury selection where they went through it, and if anybody's seen jury selection, regular jury selection in real life, you know that it can be a contentious process because the prosecution and the defense both want jurors that they think will work in their favor, that they can sway to their side and will agree with the perspective and the narratives that they're building and who would relate to it more. But it goes by seamlessly because they've already chosen the jury beforehand.
Yep.
And next is how do we implicate Tariq? How do we implicate Tariq and Tasha and that whole plan to get Tasha off? That's where 2-Bit comes into play. Which is great. I watched the after show, the not the after show, but just when Courtney Kemp gives her comments, and she made a comment, and I was like, "Yo, this is really ill." Like she's right on it. They're really teaming up for the truth.
Yep.
This is what actually happened. This isn't like they're trying to nab the wrong person. They're actually working to get the right person who is guilty in all of this. Yeah, Tasha may have guilt through association, but she isn't the queen pen.
No.
And they're actually working and a win-win proposition that would, as a byproduct, have justice served, quote unquote. So they're working together, and 2-Bit is one of the last people who are still around and alive in the Power universe that can connect every dot.
Which is crazy because I, for some reason, didn't see 2-Bit coming back this early, just because I assumed he would come back in the realm of Tommy's show. So I didn't know how they would bring him back, but I just assumed they would because, like you said, he's the only one that is left standing. But I am interested to see how what happened in last night's episode affects him on one side. And then we also know how it's going to affect Tasha because but as I was watching last night, I wanted her brain to piece it together faster. Like, I was like, girl, come on. You got to know that something is off. Like, she kept giving the face like what's going on? But she never really pulled the trigger on it. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be too late before she realizes it. But we all know Tariq can't go to jail. Like, there's no show.
Well, his father went to jail for half a season and then got out. I mean, they could do it, but I don't know if we're gonna just do trials every season, right?
Yeah,
and I think she did, because initially she had said he meets with her and said, "Hey, do you know who 2-Bit is? We got this guy. We're gonna work on him. We're gonna make it so that he can clear you because he's not." He knows that you wasn't involved in it. So in essence, that's a great move for them. But she also said Tariq cannot be involved. I don't want to get Tariq involved. He's like, nah, there's no way. Meanwhile, he's meeting with 2-Bit to be his attorney and give him for free so that he can get it. Because he works that transactional immunity clause, which says as long as he shows up and tells the truth to the best of his ability, he gets the whatever deal that they're offering, which was complete immunity and immediate release from jail. And then you have Blanca involved, who this is the way she gets Saxe finally. So they say that she's suspended. She's suspended from the force. So this is her way to finally get payback on Saxe, is to tell his truth, quote unquote, in a way that doesn't perjure himself and gets him that immunity. and gets him
get
there.
her.
Because the guy Stephen Ott, the Democratic guy that's like the political guy that's moving behind the scenes, he's the one that makes the deal happen. And he's the one that's also like, why do you want to give this guy a deal? Like, it's, you know, Saxe is wholeheartedly saying we can make the connection. We can make the connection between Tommy and Tasha through him because he knows everything. But then when he gets on the stand, it was like a tour de force in finessing.
It was awesome.
It was
awesome.
Yeah, this man claimed everything. I didn't do it. I don't know who that is. There ain't no way no white guy is gonna be the leader of this whole thing. And like he was just going in a way where Saxe is like, oh, so, you know, have you agreed to you agreed to that the rules of your immunity? Yep. It says that you tell it, and then when he breaks it down, he's like, yeah. He's like, I got a lawyer now, and I got you at XYZ. And then in the cross examine, so Saxe couldn't make that connection. McLean cross examines and further makes it so that he disassociates with Tasha, but introduces Tariq,
which is insane because it had nothing to do with anything. So he found a way to just make sure that Tariq's name was brought up, so that now they have the in, right. Which is crazy because I was thinking like, what is his plan? Like, how is he really going to be able to get Tariq introduced into any of this? And just to add that one little thing that 2-Bit did, that one little thing, and now it has turned into this. And to the point where when Tasha questioned, you know, Tariq about it, Tariq was like, no, that was, you know, even he doesn't think it's that big of a deal. So it's just crazy how one little mention is going to cause such a rift at some point.
And it's pretty innocuous too, right? The way that he mentions it. He's just like, you know, do you know anybody from there? He's like, yeah, I met Tariq once. And he's like, yo, I gave him a ride home. He looked like he was riding with the wrong crowd. So now he's planting that seed in the jurors that, okay, she's not involved, but the son was doing something. So now it's like in the back of your head. Now the seed is planted, right? And it's going to start to grow and grow if he makes the dots, that those indirect connections to Tariq, and we keep bringing it up. And even Tasha, it raised a flag. It raised enough of a flag for her to call Tariq like, yo, they mentioned your name. But then she says, well, it did make me look good. And Tariq is like, all right, so that's all that matters. Like, nobody know nothing, like we straight, because he don't know what they know. So this is yeah.
I don't know. I still feel like McLean is definitely in this for himself. I think he is working with Saxe to get what he wants out of it, but I don't think it's full on to get Tariq in jail. I really believe that he's doing something else behind the scenes, and we're going to find out more about it as time goes on. We're early on, and he's already screwing over Saxe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he already went behind his back with the 2-Bit thing. So there's only a matter of time where I think McLean is just doing enough to make it seem like he's in cahoots with Saxe. And I said that at the end of our last podcast. I don't believe that he's 100% in with Saxe. I don't.
Do you think it's a triple cross then?
I do, because I think at the end of the day, you still got, what's her name, Paula?
Yeah.
Yeah, you still got her, and I do believe she sees something in Tariq based on their last, you know, the time they ran into each other at his dorm. The way she was looking at him, I definitely see that there's something there where even if McLean is trying to cross Tariq, she will step in to do the double cross. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think if that's the case, that would be like, whoa. But I'm kind of leaning towards it being he's just doing what he has to do to hold up his end of the bargain, regardless of whether Saxe is in it or not. Like, they're in it, because you saw he tried to call Saxe, and Saxe ignored, sent them to voicemail.
He knows what he did.
Right. And he figured it out, but he just didn't let him in. But they still got the result that they wanted.
Yeah.
So if this is even more elaborate, then it's got to be something we don't see coming. So I'm going to keep my eyes on it now because you said it. But
I think he's in for himself. Like, he's in it. Like, he wants himself to look good. The reason he wanted to get the whole 2-Bit thing is because obviously Saxe couldn't make the connection. So if he makes the connection and then it ends up that they can't arrest Tariq, it comes down from his cross, his question that introduced it. It makes him look good. So I think that's all he cares about is how he looks.
Right. So that's going to be interesting to see how they work the jury and how they build this case, this indirect case against Tariq, in order to implicate him in whatever this is going on. So what the title of the episode, Good versus Evil, it alluded to the debate of Locke and Hobbes and the state of nature, like whether people are fundamentally good or bad. For those who don't know the original debate, you had Hobbes, who they if you Google state of nature, you'll see it pop a bunch of articles, like a whole bunch of articles. Well, at Hobbes is theory is basically that fundamentally evil, that like man at their core, they want peace, but they'll get it by any means necessary, and that's a natural state of war. So this is also philosophies that rule the different types of, that inform different types of government structures, where Hobbes is more of a authoritative, we should have a king, like you need one person at the helm to solve all, to adjudicate all of the different disputes that people have, because if there isn't somebody, then they're going to do whatever the strong are gonna suppress the weak. They're going to do whatever it has to do. And Locke is who his philosophy was what informed the American Revolution, because he said, man has right to life, liberty, and property. And he saw their state of nature more as, it's like, yeah, we want peace, but we have a vested interest. We have a mutual obligation to one another in order to do it. So it's more of a higher morality play. Like, we don't want a war. We just need a third party. We need somebody, a group or a government, just to resolve it, but not to be like on some king level, but more so like a group of like the people judging the people, so that we can get to that, so that inalienable right isn't violated. Right. And I think they this one kind of tied a little more indirectly into the episodes as opposed to like the other philosophies, but it's more so to talk about power, where they kept asking Tariq, do you think you're fundamentally good or evil? Do you think the people in your life? And that is a question to ask, because it's operating in those shades of gray, right? Like, a lot of those people operate in those shades of gray, but there's some people who clearly violate, and some people who may have like a higher moral obligation that they may have, but they do certain things. Where do you fall on that debate?
I think I spent the entire episode trying to figure out more so who they were referencing in terms of good and evil, because we could have been referencing Tariq, right? But then I was like, we could also be referencing Saxe. We could be referencing McLean. There are so many, and I think that's what I've said in the past. There's so many different storylines with this show that every time they brought in a topic, from whether it be the book or the title of the episode, they apply to more than one aspect of the show. So I think for me, I just spent the whole episode trying to figure out who we talking about. Like, are we really just talking about Tariq? Could it have been that we're talking about other people that are going down? You've got the whole Kane. We've now introduced a whole different aspect with his dad. Then you've got, Monet, Drew. Like, there's so many different people. It's hard to peg it on just one person. I feel like they want it to be Tariq, but I always look at it from the aspect of it could be multiple people in the episode that we're referring to.
Yeah, I think that's the nature of, just thinking about it from a philosophical perspective. I think you see elements. I think you see elements of both, right? Where, the nature may be fundamentally good, but when you introduce that outside factor, that goal, that selfishness, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna move? How are they gonna operate? And I just think that it is somewhere gray. I don't think it's black and white, because, for example, Kane, right? Kane, you could say, like, anybody at the surface, oh, that was a wild boy. He was evil, like he was going for his, and he was cutthroat. He also was betrayed and sent to jail for a dime where he was bringing dudes up and cultivating them in his ways, and they turned his back on him when he didn't want to move a certain way. So he got out of jail and chose violence for like 3 or 4 seasons, right? And does that make him fundamentally evil, or does that make him want retribution? You know? So I think when we go through these episodes and think about the series, we do think about those people. Like we talk about Saxe before, where Saxe getting that perspective from Shane Johnson, where he said Saxe wants justice, but he also knows that the way justice is set up, he ain't gonna get it if he plays by the same rules they're playing by. They're playing by a different set of rules and winning, so he gotta play by those same rules so he could win too. So I think that's something to keep in mind when we think about the chess aspect of the show and how they tie things to chess and how they're playing those games and making those machinations. What moves are they gonna make that's gonna inherently determine who they are? So that's just
true.
Right.
That's the one I'm thinking. When you describe it like that, where you're saying, they're on the surface, they're the good person, you want to root for them. I think Drew is one of those characters. He is a good guy and you want to see him win. But like you said, when they're faced with adversity, how do they deal with it? He hasn't really experienced that yet, but I am looking forward to seeing what happens with him. So I think that's a storyline too that kind of plays into that whole theme that'll develop over time.
100%. Can we talk about Kane? Can we talk about this man, Kane?
We have to.
Yeah, we have to. Let's talk about Kane. My man, I was gonna name this episode Caning Day because my man went full Denzel with these two, with Brayden and Trace. He went full Denzel Washington, rolling up on that school just because, and in essence, just because he thought his sister was sleeping with Tariq. They told him no. Told him no. Still went up there, finds Brayden and his brother, who Brayden was pressing out to get his pills back. And
very on par, on time.
Right.
That's when Kane showed up, because maybe Trace will now see what he's dealing with.
Right. And all of that, if he would have just mind his business, that whole thing wouldn't have happened. But Kane is we've seen throughout the season, he moves on his own way. He follows his own path. Like no matter what Monet tells him, he's gonna make those moves. And he went on his own up there. And Brayden kind of tipped his hand because I don't think anybody knew that he was involved with Tariq. So once he tipped his hand and said, yo, you Kane, right? I know this. And he's like, Tariq ain't here, but we like, he's trying to tell him that he's in business, but without saying it. Like he's showing the amount of discretion. And then eventually was like, yo, if it's about the money, I'm going to get the money for you, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, wait, you got my name in your mouth and you don't got my money. And then, Trace is like, I don't know what this, like, he tries to be that uppity white boy. I don't know what this ghetto thing is. And then everybody has a plan. Everybody has a plan until he gets a gun pulled on him. And then he's like, whoa, bro. Nah, it's no bros. It's no bros, yo. It's no bros.
No bros. I don't care where you're from, who you're with. None of that's about to pop off around here. Kane does not care. That
was probably my favorite segments. That man told him, we taking a ride, leave your phones. We going to the block. He has this man, he has these dudes on the block, gives them work and says, oh, you want to be in my business? Now you're going to work. Here's the challenge. This is like real world road rules challenge of selling crack.
Trace was like, it's just like Die Hard. It's just like Die Hard. And
I was screaming. When he was like, yo, it's just like Die Hard, I was like, yo, this is the epitome of I'm not in a hood. I know I'm not in my neighborhood anymore. I'm just going to think of every movie where a white man got dropped into a rough neighborhood and see what I could do. And then meanwhile, Brayden gets on the block and he hits the code switching ultimate level, where he comes in and, anybody any black people who've lived in a predominantly black neighborhood, when you see a white person in your neighborhood that you've never seen before, it's like, yo, all right, he's a cop. he's a
Right,
cop,
yeah.
or you're not here. You don't live here. You got to be a cop, or you got to be something like that. And he kind of he familiarizes himself with them and just has like regular conversations, like yo. And then he makes his backstory on the fly, where he's like, yo, I'm lost. I'm out here, blah blah blah. But yo, I got some weed. Like, what's up? And then initially after that, with that communication, he's like, yo, I got this too. Like, what's up? Like, he makes himself he makes himself friendly with them, where he builds that rapport, and then he's like, yo, I got this product to move, right? To the point where he even impressed Kane himself.
I was very impressed with him. And I've always liked his character. I've said that. But like when I say he is going to be Tariq's ride or die, if this moment and this episode did not prove that to you, I really don't know what else we got. Like, from watching just regular Power with Ghost and Tommy and how they operated, how Tommy kind of always wanted to do his own thing. I actually look at Tommy more as a Kane than I do as a Brayden. Brayden is that ride or die, will do anything for you to ensure that not only you are set up for success, but he is too. Like, he is loyal to Tariq, and he stayed that way. And I think he will stay that way. And at some point, their relationship has to be tested. But I do know that if this was nothing more than that, he held his own. Like, I fully believe in Brayden. He is that dude. Like, Tariq is lucky to have him.
And I've never seen a white man more excited to go into a black neighborhood and sell crack since Ronald Reagan.
Like,
that man was hyped.
This is what you got me doing?
Yo.
But I still love that as much as he hates his brother, he had his back.
He did. And he just looked like this was his shot. It was like 8 Mile. It was like Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther. Like, I've been waiting for this my whole life. And he stood up and he's ready to go. He was ready to go, man. Like, he wasn't playing any games with them at all. And you see it, like, he goes and helps his brother when he gets beat up. But then you see it afterwards when he comes back to the dorm and finds Tariq and Riley playing chess. And when he has that conversation with him, he was like, I like this. I want to, I'm making the money. I think he said that. I think he said that. I can't remember if he said that to Kane or he said that to Tariq. But
he said to Tariq, he was talking about how he loves making his own money outside of having to be like a rich kid. Right. He's making his own and not relying on his dad.
Right.
Like, he
saw dad money, not mama dad money.
More than what his dad was bringing in just that moment. So he in.
So for a lot of people who had asked, why would this rich white kid want to sell drugs with Tariq? That's the answer that they're providing. Is that, one, the allure of illegal activity will always throw even the most privileged person and drag them into into a crazy situation that they really don't need to be in, right? That temptation. It's like, yo, we want to do hood rat things with our friends. Like, that's the real essence of it. And this is what he's saying. He's like, not only am I doing something that's exhilarating, that's against the law, and it's really hyping me to do it, I also am not being viewed as a privileged kid as I've been my whole life, because I'm showing that I don't need the hookups. I don't need the nepotism. I don't need any of that. I can make money on my own. Now, hey, is this the most safe and prudent and legal way to do it? No, but you could get from his perspective why he's probably heard his whole life, you're privileged, which is true. But he's like, yo, I'm proving that I can do this on my own, and I'm proving that, like, I'm a real person. I'm not this, even though like we're made men on this campus, like this is what I want. And that's probably why he even got involved at the high school level with Tariq. I mean, not to mention, like, kids do dumb shit, but like with him, there's a deeper connection.
There's always one who wants to go astray from, there's a black sheep in every family. And it's, whether you want to look at that as a positive or a negative thing is on you. But for for Brayden, I see it as a positive thing. He just wants to be known as who he is, not as a Weston. You know what I mean? Like that's not what he's striving to be. Whereas
Right.
Trace obviously is. He uses the name in any situation that he can, which was the biggest screw up. And I think even Brayden in the moment knew that when he told them who he was, just letting them know that that's your name. That's the one person that's not going to help you with.
Mm-hmm.
Kane doesn't care, but he will find a way to use that to his advantage at some point.
Right. But that's also what makes Kane so reckless, is that he wouldn't realize, okay, I just pulled over. I just put rich white kids in the hood where if something goes down, and that's what Ramirez was saying when he pulled them over.
Yeah.
Like, yo, if something goes down and these kids, anything happens to these kids, it's national news. That's what their name brings. Their name brings national news. So it's you gotta chill out. And we've seen that dynamic with him and Monet and bucking the authority, and you see that with her kids now. Is even when she brought them to the hood to she didn't bring them to the hood. She brought them to like bag the coat, bag the drugs and count them and wrap up the money. And they're kind of like, we got people to do that already. Why you want us to do it? And she literally wants them to break their spoiled nature and get their hands dirty with stuff.
Which is necessary for the business, I say that very lightly, that they're trying to run. Like, you have to know every aspects of your business. Just saying we have people for that, like, that's not gonna work in that line of work. So I like the way that she is trying to break them, but I do see where, I don't know yet with Diana, but I do know Drew ain't built for it.
Right.
Ain't built for it in the least. Diana, I think, can get better with time, but Drew, I think she's right in saying that Drew ain't it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And she mentions it, and like why she's so hard on them. And she's like, yo, y'all are actually good kids, and good kids will get torn up in the street, especially with the type of things that we're involved in. And if y'all don't have your head straight, if you don't follow certain rules, you're gonna get got out there. So that's why she's building it in. And she knew, like, she was like, yo, no phones, 2 hours, I'm gonna be back. And Drew was like, yo, he's getting the text from Everett and runs up to the school, and he was gonna buck that authority. But Di already knew. She knew the vibe. She was like, nah, I'm not moving. I've already been in trouble once or twice. I'm like, it's a wrap, right? And
that's why I think she got hope.
Right, maybe, but it's just interesting to watch that whole dynamic with them. Like, first with the other kids, where they're still like kids, so they're still her kids, but they're still defying that authority, and they all have a vested interest in doing something other than what their mom wants them to do. Like Diane wanted to go to school, but her mom didn't want her to originally. Like, Drew wanted to do the art and stuff, and wants to like fall in love and stuff like that. And the mom didn't really want to. And Kane wants to run the business. He wants to like really run the business, and his mom doesn't want him to. So it's like all those acts of rebellion. Even with Drew, when they figure out how Tariq is moving, with course correct, how they figure it out, and Drew is telling Di, don't tell mom, because she's not gonna understand and she's gonna shut it down. Then you can't come up here. Then I can't come up here. Tariq is gonna be out. So we're losing our access to doing this. We're losing our access to this escape from this drug, this freedom from this drug empire. So do you want that? And I think Di was on the fence until she goes to Tariq to talk to him about it, and he doesn't want him to go in the room because Riley's in there, and they're having that back and forth conversation. You can see, like, she caught feelings for him. She caught feelings for him and sees that it's not really being reciprocated. So now she kind of wants to just smash everything.
Yeah, and I want to say rightfully so, but not really. Like she caught feelings mad fast. And I don't feel that Tariq was even. He's not even, when she said that he's not into me like that, you can't even really say that because y'all haven't really had any other interactions besides when it's been about business. Mm-hmm. Y'all not had the time to communicate outside of those moments. So I feel like she caught feelings mad fast, but I think they'll figure their relationship side of it out. Drew wanting to keep it from Monet was completely selfish. He just didn't want to mess up his chance to see his boo Everett. Okay. He don't nobody else but that, but I do agree with her telling her mom, because at the end of the day, I do feel like she may need to know. But then Monet's response was brilliant. It's business. However he chooses to do it, he can do it as long as we get the money. Like, that's all it's about. Let him do what he's doing. He's not bringing any attention to himself. He's found a way to do it very discreet so that if somebody gets caught, everybody, you know what I mean? So it's just, I love Monet's thinking there, and it shows how far attached from Monet that Drew is, to think that she would have thought that it's not, that she just wouldn't get it and would shut it down. Right. Like, Drew really is lost in the business. Right. 100%. He's not in at all.
Right. And I understand from a technical perspective why they felt like Monet wouldn't understand. Because even Tariq was like, yo, don't tell her she's not, I'm going to have to, she's not going to get it, because it's that generation gap between kids and parents. So it's like, yo, if I had to sit down and explain, do you really want to sit down and explain to your mom how an app works and how the distribution works and how all of that and how it's safer than what you're doing on the streets? And all they're going to say is, you putting our drugs on the internet. What are you, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like so straightforward. So that's how he knew. But I appreciated Monet also calling out Di for hating. He's like, yo, you're hating on this kid. You shouldn't even be mixed up with him like that to begin with. This is business. Yep. And why would I want to stop business because you catch your feelings? What you need to do is learn how to separate it, and you'll be straight. And this is, and it's that classic mother child dynamic where the kids think they know better, and she puts them into place. And even though she's right, they don't want to hear it. Right. So they don't want to really hear it like that. And that's where you get with Kane, where Ramirez tells Monet, like, yo, you got to keep him in check. And maybe it's because you're a woman and he needs a man to like he may not be respecting you like that. And it's like a man. And she's like, yo, that's not going to be you though. Like, you got to understand, like, that's Lorenzo. Like, Lorenzo. Right. And she keeps putting that in there. And even talking to Kane, she's laying it down like, yo, this is not your business. This is our business. Like, I run this. You can't call it out. And then the whole argument where he ends up hitting her, where he ends up hitting the mom. And I'm like, okay, this is the line of separation right now.
Yeah, you not put your hands. Not only was it his mama, but technically that's like your boss too. Like, you just crossed way too many boundaries. And he had the nerve to try to stick his hand out. And I was like, she better not grab that ashy hand. You better knock that thing down. And she glad she did. And I was like, thank you. Yeah. Like, he overstepped his boundaries so much, to the point where I was shocked at how calm the dad was when he was meeting with them. Because I was like, Monet ain't tell him. But
no, Monet told him. Monet told him, all right. And I love that seed, because it's like when you mess up with one parent and you try to go to the other parent to argue your point and to find like a confidant, and the parent's just like, all right, well, you know you're wrong and this, that, and the third. And he let him know, like, yo, listen, man, you're learning how to run the business. When it's your time, you'll know, but she is me when I'm out there. She is me. Yeah. And then imagine you have so much power in jail that he got security guards to beat his own son down as a message, and tells him, don't you ever put your hands on my wife again. So if there was any doubt that Lorenzo didn't have ultimate power from where he's at, that's been squashed, right? And now Kane knows. Right.
This got a whole life inside of prison. Everything
like
but. Yeah, he's living clean. And I just was like, and I loved how he didn't say, don't put your hands on your mother. He said, my wife. So it's like, bruh, you messed up on so many different ways. But I also find it funny how we know Lorenzo doesn't want Kane running the business. We know that's not what he wants. He wants Drew. Right. So I find that to be really interesting that he's telling him all this, knowing that he's not going to be the one that is chosen to run it.
Well, I thought she had said that they had reservations because they thought Drew was too soft or whatever the case may be. So I don't know.
Her, that's what he wants. He was like, you're going to follow what I say.
Right.
That's when they had that meeting, that conjugal visit.
Oh,
and
right.
Called her too. But she's the one that doesn't believe that Drew's the right fit for it because she thinks he's too soft. And he thinks that Drew just needs the chance to, and that's why she set him up for that thing. Remember, in dealing with the one connect who was putting all the stuff on the internet.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was the reason behind that. So, but then Kane stepped in and didn't really let Drew have his moment. He never got the chance.
Right, 100%. Yeah. Well, that message got sent. That message got sent to Kane ASAP. And listen, I don't think seeing the previews, I don't know how much it sank in, but he knows now, like, he will be dealt with if he crosses the mom in a certain way. But I think this all sets everything up for the next 4 episodes. Will Tasha be free? Will they implicate Tariq officially in the killing of his dad, and are they going to arrest him? What's going to happen with Monet and their drug empire, and who, even with Riley in this whole, she's still doing things to try to get Tariq, try to implicate Tariq. So she's still collecting that information. So is she gonna get caught? Like, there's a lot of moving parts, and now 2-Bit is back. So to your point earlier, right, that you were talking about, I wonder, does he have involvement, if he survives, does he have involvement with Tommy's show? Because he could go out to LA, wherever Tommy is, and then do the business with him. So who knows? I was interested in, he had Ghost Rolex, but Saxe had said, we found his Rolex on you. So I'm like, well, how does he still have the Rolex?
How does he still have the Rolex?
I was like, I don't know if that was a messed up plot, but they found it on him and they didn't take it from him when they knew that was his.
Show us yesterday too. That's right. The thing. They zoomed in on it. So It's like that's gonna be something at some point. Right. I believe. Otherwise, why make it such a big deal for them to ask, but then for him to put it on and look at it the way that he did. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Do you got anything else to say on this?
No, I'm in. This show is good. That's all I got. Like, I'm actually enjoying it. Like, I'm happy that we're sticking with it, because obviously it's not getting worse; it's getting better. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it connects in all these storylines. Uncle Nancy and Riley, all those people, all those characters. So I love it. I'm in.
Yeah, I am too, and I can't wait for the final 4 episodes. Happy to be back with y'all, the listeners. We had a lot of thank you for the great response to our interview with Shane Johnson. It was cool. We're looking to bring more of that to you as well. So definitely hit us up. Let us know what you think. As always, Power After Hours show pod. I'm wilding hard. I don't know the whole thing. I'm rusty, man. I'm rusty. Listen, I am rusty. Blame my head, not my heart. So I will get it right. I think I had it right. It's Power After Hours pod.
Show this year though? Like, are they breaking for Christmas? Do you know? We only have 4 episodes, so is there a break?
How they do? I wouldn't be surprised. Well, it came back on the 6th, right? So what would that be? 6, 12,
Friday
6, 13, 20, 27, and then the new year.
7 is a special day.
Anyway, I guess. All right, I'll stop hating. It is a special day. It is a special day. It is a special day. It is. I'll give you a song. It is a special day. It is a special, special, special day. Yeah, y'all not ready for that. Y'all not ready for me and G.
Whenever y'all want to cancel Jeff, let me know.
Wow, really? Woy. But anyway, you're getting Woyed, and we're getting the hell out of here before I lose this show. powerafterhourspod@gmail.com. You can hit us up with any of your questions, comments, and anything in between. We are on Instagram and on Twitter at Power After Hours. Am I lying again? I think I might be lying for Instagram.
Wow, what is wrong with you?
Yo, I'm rusty, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I was on hiatus for how long, y'all? 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Jeff over here gave me a look for not knowing last night was the episode, and look where we are today. Look at us.
Listen. Y'all know in a pandemic, the time goes by months. It goes by months. Like, 1 month is 45 years. I haven't talked to y'all in a minute, so I'm going to make sure that I have the correct thing, because I don't want to send you. You know, Krissy, you should be more. I don't even know. Whatever.
You're sounding very Mayor Giuliani right now.
It's I'm outside of Four Seasons, Chris. All right. No, man. Nah, you know what? You know what's crazy? Because we've gone through so many. This is a little bit behind the scenes, but we've gone through so many ats and name changes that I was like, yo, am I lying to the people? But now I'm 100% set. We are at Power After Hours on Instagram and Twitter. I knew I should have trusted my instincts. Power After Hours on Instagram and Twitter. Power After Hours pod at gmail.com. Like us, share us, subscribe us. We're Power After Hours also on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel because we want to build a lot more things there. Email us, hit us up, join our Instagram channel. You get all of the same content and more on our channels. You get the discussion on Twitter. We're giving you different things, different places. Krissy, where can they find you?
I am at Krissy Bree everywhere you can search.
Krissy Bree, and I am
not live in Georgia. Calm down. Visited one time, y'all. Swear he a peach. Okay.
Georgia, apparently home of the COVID cure because everybody outside. And I am Jeff J Says on all social media. I will not be at any concerts or any after parties. I will not be in the pool at Compound. I'll be at home.
Well, I've been at home. Just so we clear, I've been at home.
I hear you. If Krissy didn't have a whole husband and kids, she would have been right there in Compound with Gucci and Jeezy.
Out in the streets. Okay, you know what?
Wow. Oh, you thought I forgot? OG Krissy. You thought I forgot OG Krissy.
My Instagram and go look at Jeff's Instagram. I want y'all to go see.
Wow.
At Jeff J Says who be in the streets more. Okay.
Wow. You know what?
Who be
I've had
at event with masks, even though it's a quarantine. Jeff be out. Okay, it ain't me.
Wow. It's like that. You know what?
I wore my mask the whole time, and I was on the roof with open air. Jeff be making every excuse as to why he had to go to somebody's event.
I am not engaging in this slanderous execution of my character. I am going to cut off this podcast, and y'all are going to have a blessed day. Goodbye.
I want you to sing it with me. They say this is a big rich town. Yeah. I just come from